Hey everyone, Garbage here. So, a few days ago, a game that I've been keeping an eye on for a while now just released for free on Steam. That game is Operation Harsh Doorstop, a completely free tactical military shooter created by YouTuber Blue Drake and his development studio Drakeling Labs. Now, a lot of people have already reviewed the gameplay, and I'll briefly give my own review of it as well. But this video is more about what I think Operation Harsh Doorstop needs to have in order to fulfill its sort of reason for existing, and whether or not I think that it has what it takes to make that vision a reality. So first, let's talk very briefly about the gameplay. I'm not exactly the most avid player of hardcore military shooters. A game like CSGO is usually about as tactical as it gets for me. But I do play Insurgency, Sandstorm, and Rising Storm 2 on occasion, and so I do have at least that as a point of reference. To put it simply, I think Operation Harsh Doorstop strikes a pretty good balance between hardcore and casual gameplay. It's not as arcadey as Call of Duty or even Insurgency Sandstorm, but it's not trying to be an Arma clone either. It's got a pretty standard control scheme, the gunplay feels good, and it gives you some casual conveniences like a minimal HUD and medkits that don't take like 30 seconds to apply. Probably the strongest aspect of the game is its sound design. The gun sounds are placed very well in the mix in my mind, not too quiet, not too loud, and probably most impressively, the directional audio works really well. You can easily tell where gunshots are coming from and at what distance. Footsteps are nice and clear, and overall there's this feeling that every bit of audio information you get tells you something important and relevant. It's pretty rare for a game to have decent audio like this right out of the gate, so that's really nice. However, the game is not without flaws. The movement feels a little too stiff for my liking, mantling obstacles is painfully slow, and there have been a lot of bugs that really hurt the gameplay experience. You have rubber banding issues, UI issues, even simple things like switching weapons or using medkits feels very unresponsive and unreliable. Yeah, sometimes medkits just don't work. Granted, the game has only been out for a few days, and I think Blue Drake has at least some idea that these issues exist, and so I'm pretty confident they will be addressed sooner rather than later. But when the game runs smoothly, it's a pretty solid experience, and it's honestly kind of addicting once you get into the flow of the game. But that's about all I have to say about the gameplay, because if you've been following Operation Harsh Doorstop for a while, then you know, and Blue Drake has repeated this countless times throughout development, that OHD is not just a game, but rather an open platform of sorts for mods and user-generated content to exist. It's designed in such a way that encourages the development of mods and hopefully fosters a rich modding community that will keep the game fresh for many years to come. I totally vibe with this mission statement. I think mods are very good for a game's longevity, and I hope the game becomes everything Blue Drake wishes it to be. And so now it's just a question of execution. Does Operation Harsh Doorstop have what it takes to fulfill its reason for existing? When I look at other games with strong modding communities like Half-Life 2, the Stalker series, Arma, etc., one thing that all of these games have in common is a strong sense of identity. They bring certain special attributes to the table and do them better than any other game out there. For example, a lot of people like making Half-Life 2 mods with Source Engine because of the unique strengths that it provides. Whether it's the movement or the graphics or something else entirely, you can see that Half-Life DNA present not just in every mod, but also in standalone titles built on the Source Engine like the Titanfall series and Apex Legends. When people mod games like Stalker, it's because they want that dark and gritty post-Chernobyl apocalypse survival setting. They want the inventory management, the looting, the anomalies, and as such, pretty much every Stalker mod has those things. Why do people create mods when they could just make their own game from scratch? In my mind, it's because modders are really just big fans of the base game and they want to use it as a foundation to create their own games. They want that original flavor to shine through in their mod. And so I think that in order for Operation Harsh Doorstop to have a strong modding community, it can't just be a game that's easy to mod. It has to offer some flavor that you can't get anywhere else. As nice as it sounds to develop a game in cooperation with the community, I think it's going to be very hard to create a community around a game that lacks vision and a clear goal in mind. That is not to say that Blue Drake lacks vision for the game. He clearly has an idea what he wants OHD to be. It's not a bad game at all. I just hope he's not relying too much on modding to make the game better, because that's going about it backwards in my mind. You have to have a good game first before people want to mod it. Figure out what makes the game exceptional and lean into those strengths as hard as possible. Maybe start with the audio. Like I said, it's pretty good. Give people a reason to choose OHD over Insurgency Sandstorm or Squad or Ground Branch. And that, I think, is going to be the real challenge that Blue Drake and Drakeling Labs are going to have to tackle in the coming years. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and bell. Links to all my stuff down in the description. And as always, have a nice day.